Conquest emerges as perhaps the most chilling presence in Invincible's universe, a Viltrumite whose savagery transcends typical comic book villainy. Throughout Robert Kirkman's blood-soaked saga, this white-haired nightmare demolishes conventional power scales with terrifying efficiency. His narrative unfolds through planetary devastation. Conquest turns confrontations with Mark Grayson into geological events. His survival through apocalyptic conflicts speaks to a disturbing resilience that defies comprehension. What makes Conquest truly fascinating is his function as Invincible's dark mirror. Where Mark questions violence, Conquest revels in it with an almost religious devotion. Their battles become philosophical debates, conducted through broken bones and ruptured earth. Beyond mere muscle, Conquest represents an existential challenge to Invincible's entire worldview, a living embodiment of what unlimited power becomes when divorced from humanity. This video is going to tell you all about the craziest feats and facts about Conquest that will blow your mind. Before we get into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Conquest survived the Scourge virus genocide. The Scourge virus was a biological weapon engineered by the enemies of the Viltrumite race, designed to target and decimate their genetic makeup. In an apocalyptic event that wiped out an estimated 99.9% of Viltrumites, Conquest emerged as one of the rare survivors, one of the mere 0.1% who defied extinction. This near-genocidal event wasn't merely a twist of fate, it underscored the unparalleled biological resistance that Conquest possessed. While weaker Viltrumites crumbled under the virus's onslaught, Conquest's superior genetics and hardened constitution allowed him to thrive, marking him as an evolutionary outlier among his kin. The consequences of this near extinction were profound. The surviving Viltrumites were forced into secrecy, adopting covert infiltration tactics to rebuild their numbers. However, Conquest rejected any notions of subtlety or stealth. Instead, he embraced his monstrous nature, using his newfound status to wage a relentless solo campaign of conquest across worlds. His actions were driven by a primal desire not only to survive, but also to prove his superiority. He slaughtered entire civilizations without remorse, and each brutal conquest further cemented his reputation as a force of pure, unadulterated violence. His survival, far from being a mere twist of luck, was a testament to his dominant genetics, confirming that in a race defined by power and ruthlessness, only the fittest could endure. He never lost a planet conquest. Conquest's record as a conqueror is unparalleled. He's said to have never lost a single planet he was tasked with subjugating for the Viltrum Empire. Unlike many of his brethren, who might employ cunning strategies or diplomatic manipulations, Conquest relied solely on raw, unfiltered violence. In the pages of Invincible, particularly highlighted in issue number 62, he coldly declares to Mark Grayson, "Not one planet was ever strong enough to test me." This stark pronouncement isn't just bravado, it underscores the unblemished record of his planetary domination. His methods were brutally direct. When resistance was met, Conquest would simply crush any opposition with overwhelming force, leaving no room for negotiation or compromise. His flawless success rate transformed him into a living weapon for the Viltrum Empire, a symbol of absolute power, deployed when total annihilation was the only acceptable outcome. His approach was simple yet terrifying. There was no subtle strategy, only the promise of merciless eradication. Even as he marched across worlds, carving his path in blood and ruin, the universe soon learned that defiance was futile when confronted with such overwhelming brutality. When Conquest arrived on Earth, it marked the first time the planet faced an adversary whose fury was truly matchless. His pristine record of conquest not only instilled fear in those who dared oppose him, but also redefined the very concept of supremacy among the Viltrumites. He fought Ragnars without powers. During the chaotic aftermath of the Scourge virus outbreak, Conquest experienced a rare moment of vulnerability. His powers were temporarily neutralized. In this weakened state, he found himself face to face with the Ragnars, an alien species known for their apex predatory nature and lethal efficiency against even the most powerful beings. The Ragnars were feared throughout the cosmos, renowned for their ability to dispatch superpowered foes with ruthless precision. Yet even without his usual Viltrumite enhancements, Conquest managed to engage and brutally dispatch these formidable creatures using nothing but his raw combat skills. This is a war where he lost one of his eyes and an arm, that was later replaced by cybernetic enhancements. This encounter defied all conventional expectations. Typically, the Ragnars could overcome any adversary by exploiting their natural physical advantages, but Conquest's ferocity and combat mastery allowed him to overcome his power deficit. His victory in this encounter is a testament to his intrinsic fighting abilities, a blend of savage instinct and honed skill that transcended mere superhuman strength. In slaying the Ragnars with his bare hands, Conquest not only secured his place as a legendary warrior among his people, but also demonstrated that even stripped of his usual powers, his will to kill and his battle-hardened experience made him an unstoppable force. This brutal confrontation cemented his reputation as a fighter, whose savagery and determination could override any temporary disadvantage. He terrified Omni-Man. Few figures in the Viltrumite hierarchy commanded as much fear as Conquest, even among his own kind. Mark Grayson, known as Omni-Man, was once revered as the prime warrior of the Viltrumites, a symbol of unyielding strength and dominance. Yet in a chilling rematch chronicled in Invincible number 72, it was Conquest who emerged as the true terror. In a display that shattered even Omni-Man's formidable pride, Conquest hurled him aside like a ragdoll, an act that left the veteran warrior visibly shaken and humiliated. This confrontation wasn't just a physical clash, it was a psychological blow that redefined the power dynamics among the Viltrumites. Omni-Man, whose reputation had long been built on his near invulnerability and martial prowess, found himself overtaken by the raw, unrestrained fury of Conquest. The sight of Conquest's brutal efficiency and bloodlust struck fear into even the most battle-hardened of warriors. His very presence served as a reminder that the true essence of Viltrumite power lay not in tactical maneuvering or measured restraint, but in unadulterated savagery. Conquest's ability to intimidate and subdue Omni-Man revealed a psychological edge that went far beyond physical might. This moment of terror not only diminished Omni-Man's standing among his peers, but also underscored the unsettling reality that Conquest could dismantle even the Empire's most celebrated champions with ease. His battle with Invincible nearly destroyed a planet. One of the most cataclysmic encounters in the Invincible universe unfolded during Conquest's second confrontation with Mark Grayson. This battle wasn't confined to a single battleground. It was fought in the vast emptiness of space, where each blow reverberated with the force of a planetary collision. The sheer magnitude of their combat sent shockwaves that rippled through the cosmos, with punches so powerful they were capable of fracturing the surface of entire planets. During this titanic clash, the physical and moral limits of both combatants were pushed to their extremes. Mark, fueled by a mix of anger and desperation, managed to choke Conquest in the vacuum of space, a feat that showcased not only his growing power, but also the high stakes of their duel. Yet even as the young hero gained a momentary upper hand, the consequences of their titanic blows became apparent. Their collision left behind a crater the size of a continent on a nearby world. This level of destruction is reminiscent of battles fought by the greatest icons in comic book history, where the stakes are nothing less than the cosmic order itself. The battle served as a stark reminder that Conquest was not merely a terrestrial threat, but a cosmic force capable of destabilizing celestial bodies. His raw power, even in the midst of a titanic struggle, posed a challenge that transcended the confines of Earth. In this clash of titans, the collateral damage was astronomical, a testament to the destructive potential of two beings whose might was almost beyond measure. He died smiling. In a final act that encapsulated his twisted nature, Conquest met his end not with despair or regret, but with a sinister, almost triumphant grin. As Mark Grayson's grip tightened around his neck in the vacuum of space, Conquest's face broke into a macabre smile, a look that spoke of pure, unadulterated joy in the art of battle. Even as oxygen levels plummeted and the fight neared its gruesome conclusion, Conquest seemed to relish every moment, every second of the brutal confrontation. His last words, a chilling "not enough," as Mark's relentless assault tore through him, epitomized his character driven by a perverse addiction to violence. This final expression was not a mark of defeat, but a twisted affirmation of his philosophy, that true purpose was found only in the relentless pursuit of conflict. For Conquest, death was not an end. It was simply the culmination of a life spent seeking ever greater challenges and more exhilarating battles. His dying smile was a final, defiant snub to the idea of surrender or retreat. It was as if he was daring Mark, and by extension the universe, to question the value of life when existence itself was measured by the thrill of combat. In that moment, Conquest transcended conventional notions of heroism or villainy. He became an embodiment of violent euphoria, a character who, even in his final moments, reigned as a force of nature driven by his unquenchable lust for destruction. His death, gruesome and unsettling, left an indelible mark on Mark Grayson, forever altering the hero's moral compass. Cecil Stedman faked his death. In a move as cunning as it was desperate, Earth's top defense agency, led by Cecil Stedman, devised an elaborate ruse to contain the existential threat posed by Conquest. Following a particularly savage encounter, Conquest was captured and confined within a specially engineered subterranean facility. However, rather than eliminating the threat outright, Cecil orchestrated an elaborate deception. A fabricated corpse was presented to Mark, signaling an apparent victory over the fearsome Viltrumite. This elaborate ploy was born out of necessity. The Global Defense Agency, GDA, knew that despite the temporary containment, Conquest's regenerative abilities and sheer willpower would eventually enable him to break free. to prevent Mark from underestimating future threats, or worse, to prevent him from lashing out impulsively, Cecil's ruse served as both a psychological buffer and a tactical maneuver. Encased in 400 tons of tempered steel, Conquest's corpse was intended to provide a false sense of security, buying precious time for Earth's defenders to regroup and strategize. Yet, as history would have it, Conquest's indomitable nature could not be confined. Once his wounds healed, he shattered his prison with ease, a stark demonstration that no earthly containment measure could hold a force of his magnitude. His escape not only validated the GDA's fears, but also underscored the high stakes involved in dealing with a being capable of regenerating from even the most crippling injuries. He competed with Thragg for supremacy. Within the brutal hierarchy of the Viltrumite Empire, power is not merely inherited, it is constantly contested. Although Thragg ruled as the Grand Regent with an iron fist, even he was forced to acknowledge the raw, untamable fury of Conquest. Thragg once described Conquest as an animal barely controllable, a remark that hinted at the latent threat he posed to even the highest echelons of Viltrumite leadership. Their relationship was complex, built on an undercurrent of mutual respect and silent rivalry. Thragg's tactical brilliance and calculated ruthlessness were the antitheses of Conquest's anarchic, unbridled savagery. While Thragg commanded armies and orchestrated cosmic conquest through strategic maneuvering, Conquest preferred the direct route, engaging in battles that left a trail of devastation in his wake. This unspoken tension between the two not only highlighted Conquest's potential to disrupt the established order, but also underscore a crucial truth about Viltrumite society. Power is as much about fear and raw aggression as it is about strategy. In many ways, Conquest embodied the untamed spirit of the Empire, a living reminder that even the most established leaders could be overthrown by the sheer force of unyielding brutality. Although Thragg never directly clashed with him in a decisive battle, the mere possibility that Conquest could one day rival his own supremacy cast a long shadow over the Empire's future. This dynamic rivalry, simmering beneath the surface, hinted at a potential upheaval. Had Conquest ever chosen to pursue political power over constant warfare, the hierarchy of the Viltrumite race might have been forever altered. He resurrected through pure rage. Perhaps one of the most astonishing aspects of Conquest's character is his ability to cheat death through sheer force of will. In the ruthless universe of Invincible, where death is common and heroes and villains alike are battered and broken, Conquest's resurrection stands as a testament to the indomitable nature of Viltrumite physiology. After his seemingly fatal defeat at the hands of Mark Grayson, Conquest's body defied the natural order, regenerating from critical injuries that would have proven fatal to any ordinary being. Frozen, burned, and even dismembered, his battered form mended itself, emerging not only whole, but even more dangerous than before. This remarkable recovery is fueled by an almost supernatural love for battle. For Conquest, every near-death experience is a challenge to be overcome, a stimulus that only sharpens his hunger for combat. His ability to heal rapidly and return to the fray illustrates a fundamental truth about his kind. Viltrumites are built to endure and adapt, their bodies crafted for perpetual warfare across millennia. In this case, that adaptation is intertwined with a physiological need for conflict. His survival isn't an accident, but a direct consequence of his unyielding determination and passion for destruction. Each time he rises from the ashes, Conquest reinforces his image of a self-sustaining force, a living embodiment of the idea that in the heart of battle, even death can be defied by pure, raging will. He made Invincible a killer. The brutal legacy of Conquest is not defined solely by the destruction he wrought on entire worlds. It also left an indelible mark on the psyche of his adversary Mark Grayson, better known as Invincible. Their final fateful encounter forced Mark to confront the darkest corners of his own morality. Until that point, Mark had held fast to a strict no-kill policy, believing in the possibility of redemption and restraint, even in the face of overwhelming brutality. However, as Conquest unleashed his full measure of savagery, Mark was pushed beyond the boundaries of his moral code. In a moment that would haunt him for years to come, Mark abandoned his ideals and chose lethal force as the only viable response to Conquest's unbridled carnage. As he choked the life from Conquest in a fit of unrestrained rage, Mark's transformation was complete. A hero forced to become something darker in order to survive. This act of killing was not only a necessary tactical decision, but also a symbolic severance from the man he once aspired to be. Conquest's legacy, therefore, extended far beyond his physical acts of violence. He corrupted the very ideals of heroism by forcing his opponents to cross a line they never thought they would. In the aftermath, the psychological toll on Mark was palpable. The brutal confrontation had reshaped his understanding of justice, blurring the lines between right and wrong. Conquest had not only been a physical adversary, but a catalyst for moral decay, leaving behind a hero forever changed, haunted by the memory of the day he became a killer. Each of these revelations adds depth to Conquest's character, a being who survived genocide, conquered worlds, fought without his powers, instilled terror in his peers, and left a legacy of both cosmic destruction and moral ambiguity. His brutal existence challenges not only the physical limits of the universe, but also the ethical boundaries of those who stand against him. That's all for today's video. We will circle back on more Invincible content. Stay tuned with Marvelous and be safe. Catch you in the next one.